Hello, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you're joining us from, and welcome to yet another Track Titan community race. We're on the 17th community race now, here at Silverstone with the Audi R18 prototype, and I'm joined today by the wonderful Tom Jones.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me again.
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Tom. We have been, well, Tom's been sat and watching some of the fastest drivers on the grid. Eric Schumandera. Was it Eric? Yeah, it was Eric Schumandera.
Yeah.
I've been sat watching him and learning the secrets. So what do you think is the secret to good lap times here? Definitely not spinning like I've just seen on screen.
Yeah, don't do that. You need to be going forward, not sideways. Basically, it's carrying speed. I watched him go through some of the corners, and he carried so much speed through it. He let it run out, and Assetto, of course, is very generous about how much off track you can take on some of these corners, and it's also very generous on how much the inside you can use as well. So he thoroughly took full advantage of that, and I reckon I watched him. I saw a couple of corners. I reckon he could probably. I reckon there's another half a second he could find if he really put a lap together. Absolutely nailed it on. Because I mean, yes, they're on a default setup, so they can't really tweak it. I mean, if he could get a little bit more front end on his car, then he'd be. He could easily get that half second. But with the understeer that these have at the minute, he's saying he struggles to get the heat through the front tires for it, so it just washes through the corners.
That's fair enough. So the secret is drive good.
Yeah. Don't do an Adam Chappers.
Do not do that. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll jump on board with Eric if you're gonna find Eric, and you can run us through a lap with him.
Yeah.
We'll get a nice onboard camera here. See if we can get something. Let's jump back through.
There we go.
Works. Yeah, take us through, Tom.
Right, coming out the club section here, getting a very interesting line through there, but it's fine because it's way before the start finish. Just leave it in sixth. You want to be changing up in this car about 5,000 revs. Absolutely flat through there. Braking, really, you want to be braking just at the start of the curb there, in nicely for the apex, and then back on a little bit of hybrid boost. Once again, get back on the brakes and get down to the apex. Just let it run wide there, really open steering, and just get your power on to get nicely on down the Wellington straight now, heading into Brooklands. I think he is catching the car ahead possibly, which is going to hinder him slightly through here, as you can see, using a lot of the generous amount as he spins.
Eric.
I'm trying to do a lap run through here.
We'll carry on from there. Just don't do this on this part of the track.
Yeah. Don't spin. Right, and then as we go back round Brooklands, just like nothing happens, I think he's in probably a gear too high. Here we go. So now through Luffield, sorry, and then through Woodcote, he's trying to get some grip back in his tyres, I think, so that's turning. Into Cops here, nice. Change down one gear, a little bit of brake, a little bit of neutral, and then just let it run out. You can use that area there, but of course you've got worse traction, so you don't quite get the power down properly. As you see, fully committed through there, using lots of the curb on the inside, and then getting back on. You don't really want to get on the curb there because it can unsettle the car, and it is quite bumpy in you, so it's going to get unsettled anyway, so you want it as planted as possible. Back on down here. Now this is the only part of the track you're going to hit 7th gear. As you see, the engine just practically stops, but nicely back on the brakes at where the curb starts on the left, in nicely for the apex, getting back on the power. Now I was talking with him, and he was saying there's not really too much difference between 3rd and 4th, but if you want to play it safe, I'd use 4th through there, make it a bit more stable on throttle, and then just coasting around here. And he's going to restart his lap here, and hopefully he doesn't spin this time round.
Yeah, well, we'll stick on him on the cameras, but that's a abridged lap of Silverstone there. Obviously, don't spin. That's the trick.
Yeah, I heard you save a lot of time that way.
So, as we are finding out, the trick to being good at this circuit is drive good, don't spin. And we'll see if we learn anything more throughout the next 15-minute races. 2 15-minute races, of course. 2 more minutes of quali. Let's look at the timings. Let's look at who's who right now. So currently, in provisional pole is Michelle Rodriguez, putting in a 1:44.540. That's definitely a time that can be improved on, because just in practice before we went live, Eric managed to put in a 1:43.54. Was it? Was that right?
Yes.
Incredible. What a lap. So that's definitely a time that can be improved on. 1:44.5 shouldn't be the lowest we go. But then closest to Michelle Rodriguez right now is Ryan Skywalker with a 1:45.3 as Jesus puts in a 1:45 dead. But still, not too close up at the front. We've got gaps of 5/10, 3/10, and then a gap of 3 seconds to Alexander Gray. Although that's just because it's the first laps coming through, I suppose.
Yeah. I think one thing is this car yes, the F2004 was run a couple of weeks ago, but this car is nothing like that. You're gonna have a clear difference between people who understand how to use the hybrid properly in these cars and the people who don't. I think it's quite a very technical car with that sort of thing. You're gonna have all sorts of those issues. So we're gonna see interesting bits down at the back where people through the race haven't been managing their hybrid system properly, so that can throw some skewed results through. And then you're going to have people at the front who have the hybrid all set up. They've done loads of laps. Like I was talking to Eric earlier, and he was saying over the week he's done over 200 laps on the hot lap server. So he's very well dialed in. As we say that, he's just done a 44.3 to put himself on pole.
Practice makes perfect. I think that's the resounding message here, and I guess the resounding message of everything Track Titan. So Eric, there, proving our point. Thank you, Eric. That if you do a lot of laps and you analyse your laps, you're gonna do fast laps. He puts in a 1:44.3, but still, there's time to be found there. There's definitely time to be found there.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, during the qualifying here, as he just drives off the track, you're going to have a lot more cars on track to deal with and contend with than we had earlier. At the start earlier, there was only a couple people on track, and now there's 12 of them. Well, I mean, there's 17 people in the server, 12 of them are set times, so
very good.
Got a lot more to contend with than the 9 that was there earlier when Eric set his lap.
Yeah, traffic is playing a big role. I think Eric's bailed on that last lap, so who am I going to follow now? I think we'll jump on with... I'm not sure who's a fast driver we can jump on to finish a lap.
Well, who's on a lap?
Well, there's quite a few on right now. Diogo Teixeira is currently on a lap, just behind Eric here. He is... fine, there he is, coming through Baggett's and Beckett's. And he is not put in a valid lap yet, but he is a fast driver. He's a driver that we'd expect to be, top 5 maybe. I mean, there's a very strong top 5 out there right now. Eric, Michelle, Jesus, Ryan Skywalker. That's not going to help you, Diogo. Don't do that. So it looks like Diogo's going to have a bit of a slower lap, so he might be starting further back, but he's a driver that we can expect to fight through. He actually, I think it depends with Diogo. Sometimes he's really, really good with some cars, and sometimes he's just not quite on the ball. This could be one of them cars that's not on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this one it's a very technical, very demanding car. When I was talking with Eric, it's like sometimes it likes to understeer, and then you get your foot on the throttle, and then sometimes you go in to do some figure skating with how much you're spinning. So it's one of those. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of them. I think with this car as it is, but no issues. There we go. Last driver coming across the line is the KYSV, and he's just come across the line, and we are gonna go into the race session. So yeah, here we are, Silverstone. Where else but sunny? I was gonna call it Northamptonshire, but I think it's actually Buckinghamshire. I'm not 100%.
It is Northamptonshire. You got it right first time.
I think some fun trivia about Silverstone. I believe that Stowe is in Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
The county border actually runs right through Silverstone. So all drivers have to carry the... Oh, that's a joke. They don't have to carry the passports. That's a complete joke. Anyway. 25 seconds to go until we start the race. Well, here in sunny Northamptonshire / Buckinghamshire. And Ryan Skywalker seems to be taking a pit lane start.
Is he?
Starting from the... Unless this is just wrong on my screen, but on my screen he is starting from the pits.
No,
we'll see how this goes.
It's saying, I wonder if he's trying to just win the second race.
Potentially. Potentially, but there we go. 6 lights on, 6 lights off. Away we go. Oh, and Eric Shimandera has had a terrible start. Jesus flies through up the inside into the first corner, and Jesus is through and away into first place. Eric Shimandera there dropping back into second after that difficult start. Yeehaw is into third place. Where did he come from? Jumping ahead of Michelle Rodriguez on the start. Must have had a fantastic time off the starting grid, and he's gaining a little bit on Eric Shimandera there, but not looking to be able to overtake him this time round. Meanwhile, yeah, Jesus 1.5 seconds away and clear already as Michelle Rodriguez gets chased down by Stark and Alexander Gray, who are in turn getting chased down by Chris coming into Brooklands. Around Brooklands, Chris is up the inside of Alexander Gray. He makes a move into Brooklands, coming into Luffield. He's also got the inside line. He's going to have the inside line for Luffield, and it looks like Alexander Gray is going to have to settle for 7th place. Not if he's going to fight back, though, because he's coming back at him, coming back onto the National Straight. Round Woodcut, and yeah, Alexander Gray gonna have to settle for 7th place by now. Not too much bumping and barging then. They're all very well behaved, Tom.
It was at the mid to the front pack, but got a few caught up with some actions. We got Markin, and it was I think KYSV sort of got caught up, Bolivar, and Iragi at the back there. As I'm saying that, Alexander Gray has just dropped it through Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, I think he got some help round. I think he might have understeered into another driver there and got helped round, but he's struggling to get back on track now. But up ahead, Michelle Rodriguez did manage to get himself past Yeehaw. I believe that was coming around Stowe, potentially, making a nice daring move up the uphill, then downhill into Club Chicane. Now Michelle Rodriguez into 3rd position. Yeehaw going to have to settle for 4th. I'm not sure where did Yeehaw start. Did you know that, Tom?
I actually don't. I have to admit I wasn't paying that much attention on that.
Yeah, me neither, but he appeared in 3rd, and well, he's back to 4th now. Brian Skywalker, with his pit lane start, is down in 14th position. He's only just coming through the Club Chicane right now. So yeah, like you say, he must be going for that 2nd race win. I'm not sure any other reason why he might, although I believe there could be some issues with the Assetto Corsa where if you have a clutch system and you keep the clutch down, but then rev it in 1st gear, it makes you do a pit lane start. Well, I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out from the Discord later on.
I'm sure we will indeed.
But there we go, up at the front, Jesus, now only half a second ahead of Eric Shimandera. He managed to clear off a second and a half off the line with that fantastic start that he had. But Eric has battled it back all the way to half a second, coming into Hop's corner now. Around the fast right-hander, Eric Shimandera going to try and gain any time he can. Both the drivers taking a very interesting interpretation of track limits, but I believe it's legal thanks to Assetto Corsa being Assetto Corsa. Round Maggots and round Beckett's, Jesus is all over them curves. He is absolutely mashing the downforce. Coming onto the hanger straight, Eric Shimandera is going to try and line up a move. When do you think the move's going to happen, Tom?
If it's going to be anywhere, I reckon it'll be into club. That's a bit optimistic though. I think it's just too far back. I think we're not really going to see a move until into maybe turn 2 of where will it be? I forgot the corners names now. Into Village is where I expect if he's going to be making a move, that'll be where it'll happen. The next major braking zone. He's nicely up behind him. He's not going to really get the advantage down here unless he deploys all of his hybrid, but then he'll leave himself exceedingly vulnerable onto the Wellington Straight. So let's see as they go flying on through Abbey. Change down gear, and he's run nice and wide, and he's going to have to slow down here. And that's a big relief for Jesus. He has aimed for the cameraman, hasn't he?
Jesus then going to be wiping the sweat off his forehead as Eric Shimandera is going to jail. Michelle Rodriguez in 3rd place, just 6.5 seconds now ahead of Yeehaw. So he's sticking with these top 3 and he's chasing down Eric Shimandera, but he's cleared away from Yeehaw. Yeehaw just not got the pace to keep up with him. Interestingly, just behind Yeehaw now and coming onto the Wellington Straight, Diogo Texeira is back in 15th position and is getting lapped. So I'm not sure what's happened to him, how he managed to be a lap behind by, you know, the 3rd lap. But he must have had an absolute nightmare somewhere on the track.
He might have had a drive-through penalty or something. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's not where you want to be, is it?
It's definitely not where you want to be on this so early in the race. Coming around Luffield now, we've got an interesting battle for 6th position. KYSV, Oscarson and Mills are all very, very close together in amongst it at Luffield, but actually I'm going to jump back to the front. because it looks like this battle might be hotting up again between Jesus and Eric Shimandera, because there's only half a second between them. Eric Shimandera chasing him all the way up the hanger straight, past the Porsche Experience and into Stowe. Uphill, Jesus is all over the grass. That's not going to do him any favours. Eric Shimandera gaining plenty of time on him there, coming into the club chicane. Eric Shimandera is alongside, breaking deep, and he is through and past Jesus now. Jesus coming around, trying to fight back around the club chicane, coming back onto the Hamilton straight. But it doesn't look like Jesus is going to be able to hold on to that first position now, because Eric Shimandera is away and clear. And we know a driver like Eric Shimandera, once he's away and clear, he's just going to get his head down and drive away with it, Tom.
Yeah, indeed. And with that, it's more bad news for Jesus, because Michelle Rodriguez has just done a 44.6. Absolutely flying compared to them two. And well, Eric's now got clear track ahead, no one to hold him up, and he's already got half a second advantage on him. So I think he was definitely being more efficient and better using his hybrid system through those early laps. As we see, he's already just pulled another tenth and a half out of him. He's running away, and I believe Jesus is dropping back into the clutches of Michelle. So Michelle looking for that second place, looking to get back up on the highest steps of the podium. Adam.
Very interesting on the hybrid subject. You know, I know we discussed it before about some drivers not even knowing about it, but you can tell that there must be some drivers that aren't utilising it. Some drivers might not have the keys bound, might not know about how to use it or when to use it. These top three, obviously, all very familiar with it because of the way they're clearing off. But yeah, like you say, Michelle Rodriguez chasing down Jesus right now into Maggots and into Beckett. Only 4/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second between the pair of them. So, yeah, going to be a very, very interesting battle hotting up. And I daren't switch away from them because it seems like every time I go back to look at that battle for 6th, that's now seems to have disappeared. I think Oscarson might have got tangled there and has dropped back quite a bit. And he's now having battles with Brent Mills. But, yeah, I tend to switch away because these lot are hotting up.
Yeah, with Michelle, literally, they're all the three of them are bumper to bumper. Michelle's done a great job to catch up to the back of Jesus, and Jesus is clearly he's learning. He's sat there, he's trying to learn off the back of Eric and see where he's going wrong. As we say that, Eric has just done 4/10 of a second faster in that lap. Jesus did not have a good club section at all. I think that's the real weakness he's got on this track, and it seems to be where in the slower speed stuff, Jesus is definitely losing out.
Yeah, I think in this last section, Jesus is losing a fair amount of time. Yeah, just in that last lap alone, Jesus was 2/10 down on Michelle Rodriguez and 3/10 down on Eric Shimandera. So he's making up the time through the rest of the lap. You know, in the second sector he wasn't too much slower, but well, the sector times are just reset, and it looks like Jesus is the fastest in the first sector so far. So it looks to be like a track of well, I'd say 2 halves, but it's 3/3 for these drivers. Oh, and Jesus drops it. Jesus has dropped it coming around Woodcut. He got on the grass. You just saw that one tyre drop on the grass, and it's just absolutely span his wheels out, and he's gone right into the wall. Luckily, no damage on, so he's going to be able to rejoin the track just out of Woodcut, coming back onto Copse. But he is going to be simply devastated. Simply devastated. Still in 3rd position because Eho's so far back. But yeah, that's the danger of getting on the grass, Tom.
Yeah, we've got back markers everywhere. As we were watching earlier with Diego's actual qualifying lap, he got a little bit on the grass and the thing just span on him. It's very sensitive, this car, at the lower speeds when it's slightly unstable. It wants to be planted, it wants the downforce going through it to give it that grip, and when you don't have that, you just have issues. And so you'd be very brave to play around with the grass on the big bumps and these things. You really will be. As for saying that, Michelle is now right on the back of Eric. Are we going to see a move here? Quite possibly. He's going to have the slipstream down the straight, and the slipstream in these things is quite big. It loves it. So probably if he's going to stick with him, the move is going to be into Village. He's going to get a wash of aero through there, and he's just going to drop back from that. So a nice little sigh of relief from Eric there as he can just continue what he's doing. But Michelle Rodriguez, I won't say a bit of a dark horse in this race because we know he's quick, but he's definitely, I think, surprising me a bit because I didn't think he quite had the pace of Eric or Jesus, but he's proven us wrong right now. Adam.
He is. I think it's just the combination of learning lines, a bit of slipstream, but I mean, like we saw just then, coming through them high-speed corners, the slipstream can work against you because you lose that downforce. Going through the high-speed corners, the dirty air, and when it's going through the aerodynamic components on the car, you just lose a significant amount of downforce, so he loses time. But he's just going to have to try and fight back up these long straights. They're very long straights here at Silverstone. It's not quite Monza, but it's near enough with the speed that you get down these long straights, the Hangar and the Wellington especially. But yeah, it's half a second between them coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Eric Schmendera just leading the race by now, but Michel Rodriguez holding on just about. I say just about. He's doing very well, but he's holding on to Eric Schmendera at the front of this race. And then coming onto the Hangar straight now, he's going to try and line up some moves, but he has dropped back about half a second through Beckett's there.
Yeah, I just don't think he carried quite enough speed through those last couple of corners of it. It just, yeah, just the way Eric managed to pull out, just carried the speed better. He was more committed through the corners. I think Ryan is parked right up on the barrier, so he's not counted as in the pits. He's counted as still in the race. So Assetto Corsa, if he keeps this up, Assetto Corsa will put him on pole position for the next race.
On my screen, he's currently battling a driver. He's battling Jesus into the club chicane.
Oh, he's
in last place. He's in last place. He I think he disconnected earlier on, came back into the pits, rejoined the race, and now he's having a bit of fun with Jesus. And we know that they're a similar kind of level of driver, so this will be a bit of a fun race to watch, even if it's not for position. But Jesus, I can't tell the gaps neither because there's nothing between them, so I have no idea what the exact gaps are. But coming through the loop now, Jesus just ahead. Ryan Skywalker trying to learn something before the second race. Then we know Jesus is a good driver. He might have dropped the ball earlier on, but he's a very good driver. So if there's anything Ryan can learn, he's going to learn it now. He's going to put it to use in the second race when he's going to start on pole. Is this a new strategy we're seeing developed? Tom?
We are, yeah. I think looking at Jesus, he was saying in the Discord earlier, he's not comfortable in downforce cars, and realistically, I think you can see it. This isn't the same Jesus that we see when he's doing other cars. He's a lot more sloppy. He wants, I think, his preferred style is less downforce, so he can slide the car through a bit more. It's more so he can balance the car on the throttle better. Where you just can't really do that on these. You need to trust in the downforce that's going to work. You need to trust that you're going to have the grip through the downforce, and I think we can see that from how he's driving. He's just not got the driving style. Like when you look at some drivers work wonders in Formula 1 and some drivers work wonders in GT cars. It's as simple as how the downforce and how your brain works with it. Adam.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Jesus clearly preferring it a little less downforce, as Sebastian Vettel would say, a little bit loosey-goosey. But just Eric Schmendera clearly relishing the high downforce. He's out at the front. He's pulled out a gap on Michel Rodriguez as well. He's now 2.5 seconds ahead of him. So Michel Rodriguez not able to pick up the pace and keep with Eric Schmendera there. But, you know, no discredit to him. He's still on the back of him, and he's still in second place.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled 1.1 seconds out of him that lap. I think he must have been saving up a bit of battery charge just to give it a good old push through there and just see what sort of lap he could put in. Still a second off the best he set in the practice earlier, but it's just signs of the man. Michel's been right on him, and he's just found an answer for the pace, and well, he's showing Michel that if you want to fight me, you're going to have to pick it up a bit.
Yeah, no, he's not making it easy for him. Oscarson at the top of the track up at Stowe is having a nightmare and can't seem to get back on track. Hopefully he gets back on track very soon. But I think he was in the middle of the battle in for somewhere around 7th position, but clearly has either been helped around or dropped the ball. Likewise with KYSV. Not sure if he had a little bit of assistance going around there by Brent Mills, but either way, he's in 8th position now, and Brent Mills moves up into 7th. I think he's battled up from about 10th, so a good race from him there. But this is a fairly pedestrian race compared to what we're used to. We're used to some chaos, we're used to some crashes, and the drivers are being very well behaved, which I'm not complaining at, but still, they're being very well behaved.
Yeah, so someone's told him to stop misbehaving. I don't know what's happened, we must have missed it, but Michel Rodriguez is now 5 seconds back on Eric. Either Eric's on an absolute god lap, or I think Michel must have made a slight mistake somewhere coming onto one of the faster sections and has just lost a load of time.
Yeah, it looks like in the second sector he lost about 3 seconds to Eric. So maybe just a moment, maybe just one of them. Particularly coming through somewhere like Maggots and Beckett's, it's such a high downforce corner, you get a little bit of a downforce. It's just absolutely exacerbated by the speed that you're flying through at. But either way, we've got, like I say, a fairly pedestrian race, quite big gaps between them, and the closest gap on track is between Oscarson and Bolivar, which is a gap that is now going to be very much widened because Oscarson has just gone round. So the next closest gap on track is Chris and Stark, who are coming into the club chicane, and yeah, Stark's 3.5 seconds behind Chris, Michelle Rodriguez, 4 to 5 seconds behind Eric Shimandera. We've only got 6 seconds left on the clock, so we've only got 1 lap left of this. Let's hope for some more interesting battles in the second race, because I'm not getting bored, but I don't have a lot to say.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, Yeehaw and Ryan Skywalker are bumper to bumper, really. I think Yeehaw's issue is he's deploying too much on the straights. I think maybe because he deploys an awful lot and then he stops going anywhere. Either that or Ryan's just not deploying. I don't know why that would be, but it's interesting. I mean, Yeehaw is bringing. I haven't seen him before, I don't think, and he's bringing in 4th place at the minute. He's got a 20-second gap back to Chris, and he's 15 seconds behind Jesus. So, yeah, I think it's quite a safe, solid 4th place for him. And realistically, I think this is going to be the end. These are going to be our finishing positions, unless something serious happens. I mean, biggest chance for change realistically would be Chris or Shajak and KYSV or Brent. They're just about 3 seconds between the pair of them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got big gaps, which means that a lot of these drivers can afford to spin out and rejoin the track in the same position. But yeah, Yeehaw's been I think a couple times. I do recognise the name, and he has always been a decent driver up towards the front. But clearly, we're not rating him quite as high as we should, because there he is, like you say, a very safe 4th position. But that does mean that he's going to be starting 4th from the back in the reverse grid race. Let's see how that goes for him. I mean, to be fair to him, he did have a fantastic start. This, if you remember at the start, he was up into 2nd position.
True.
Third.
So. Now, I don't want to discredit the driver, but we're saying he's done very well in 4th place. I mean, 4th place is still 32 seconds behind after 15 minutes. So, you know.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, up against fantastic drivers here. He can still be proud of what he's got to achieve, but he's not quite on the same level as drivers like Eric Shimandera, who is just today is on another level. He's on an absolute mission. He's still 4 seconds ahead of Michelle Rodriguez. He's pumping in fast laps after fast laps. You know, Eric with a 144.4 and Michelle with a 144.48. You know, their best laps are kind of close, but when we're looking at the actual per lap basis, despite the fact Michelle Rodriguez did put in his fastest lap last time round, Eric's been very, very consistent up at the front of the pace, and well, he's reaping the benefits because he's coming around the club corner. He's going to come onto the Hamilton straight, and he's going to win the first race of the night here at Silverstone in the Audi R18. Eric Shimandera is your first winner. Michelle Rodriguez coming home in 2nd position, and Jesus battling for 2nd, dropped it out of Woodcut, drops back into 3rd, but he can't be too unhappy with that because he's still 18 seconds clear of 4th place driver, which is Yeehaw. So Jesus, Michelle Rodriguez, and Eric Shimandera, the usual suspects on your podium. Yeehaw, here he is coming around the club corner. Will everyone will be able to get a bit of screen time with the gaps that we've got formed, because Yeehaw is flying around club corner onto the Hamilton straight, and he's going to pick up 4th position. Looks like there could be a bit of a battle forming right at the end of the race here, because Chris and Jack are within a second of each other. Within 2 seconds of each other, although it looks like Jack might be a bit too far behind to make a crazy move on Chris unless Chris dropped the ball through club chicane. He's going to pick up 5th place, coming around to pick up 5th place, 23 seconds behind 4th. Again, big gaps between the drivers, but Jack trying to make it interesting and not able to get that 5th position. KYSV and Mills, much the same. 2nd between them. Brent Mills is going to try and come through and make a serious move. Is he going to be able to make him a last lap lunge into club chicane? He's 7/10 behind. That's a bit too far behind for a serious lunge, but sometimes we can all be Danny Ricciardo coming around the club chicane. Brent Mills looking for that 7th position. He's coming onto the Hamilton straight. They are side by side. Brent Mills ahead of KYSV. Oh wow, what a move. Completely off track. That definitely wouldn't be legal, but in this race, it definitely is. KYSV settling for 8th position then. 9th for Bolivar, 10th for Oscarson, 11th for Diogo Texeira, and Ryan Skywalker comes home in last in the pits. Tom, what a crazy final that was from Brent Mills and KYSV.
Yeah. I think that would definitely be a trip to the stewards for that one. Actually, I don't think it would be a trip to the stewards. I think it would be a straight, what you're doing? No. You got to be on the track to pass, and that clearly was not on the track.
I was definitely not on the track. But well, Brent Mills, there we go. I mean, in the wonderful world of Assetto Corsa, inherits 7th position there, so not going to complain from there. I think the grid is a little bit messed up because Michelle Rodriguez, Eric Simondera, Ryan Skywalker is starting right at the back. Poor lad starts right at the back. I'm not sure why that is.
I think that might be because he finished in the pits.
That is very potentially what has happened there. So Ryan Skywalker not going to benefit from the crazy strategy that we'd imagined for him. So Diogo Teixeira is going to be starting on pole position for the reverse race with Joel Oscarson and Bolivar just behind him. We've got 6 red lights going on for 15 minutes of action. 6 lights are off, and away we go. And Diogo Teixeira makes a fantastic start there, but Joel Oscarson makes a better start. Joel Oscarson is already alongside him by the first corner, not able to make a move because he seems to have dropped back there. Oh well, bit of torque there for Diogo Teixeira coming out. But Joel Oscarson in 2nd position, Stjack in 3rd, and Jesus is already up into 4th position. How on earth has he managed that? He's going to try and make some capitalizations. He's going to try and capitalise on Stjack and Oscarson battling away because there we go. Moves straight through on Oscarson up into 3rd position. He's going to chase down. He moves through on Stjack, trying to chase down Mr. Oscarson into Luffield. He's braking deep, he's braking late, he's not quite alongside though, but he is going to have good traction out of the corner, as we'd expect from him, into Luffield. He's already ahead and into 2nd position. Jesus not looking to recreate the same mistakes of last race. Let's look at some of the other usual suspects. Eric Chimandera is up into 5th position. He's just managed to get himself past Ryan Skywalker, who, again, Ryan Skywalker fighting right from the back, is up into 6th position. A great start for him. Michelle Rodriguez, comparatively, having a pretty torrid time, back in 9th position. Oh, now 8th as he makes a move around Cops. But not a bad start, but not a great start for him there either. So Eric Chimandera making a move. Oh, going right off track at Magnussen Beckett's, rejoining at Beckett's. In 3rd position, he's going to have to give that place up, surely. Stjack now settling behind. He loses a bit of traction, does Stjack there. And Eric Chimandera moves up into 3rd position. We're going to have a look at some of the rules on this server. Mr. Oscarson now battling with Ryan Skywalker up into Stowe. Ryan Skywalker is up the inside and through into Stowe on Oscarson. An easy move for him there. And Michelle Rodriguez is going to try and get on the battle. Michelle Rodriguez right on Oscarson's back bumper. He's braking deep. It's Swede on Swede and into Club Chicane. They've made some Sweden mash. Michelle Rodriguez up into 5th position, and Oscarson drops the ball and goes into the gravel pit, handing 6th position to Stjack and potentially Bolivar through as well. He's dropping right down the order and he disconnects as he's had enough of it. Michelle Rodriguez then up into 5th position, so it looks like we've got our usual suspects back at it again, but Diogo Teixeira holding his own. He's managed to get a decent enough gap to clear away, but he's not going to be able to outrun Jesus for long. 1.5 seconds between them, now down to 1 already, Tom.
Yeah, it's mental. I think you could arguably call that a Swede club back there. Gotta get one out there. Yeah, Diego Teixeira there. He's in the lead, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold off Jesus for long. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before Eric comes back through. If he wants to keep up that corner cutting action, we're going to have to buy him a lawnmower. They could use some help while he's there. Valtteri Bottas could give him some tips on that one, though. As I say that, Diego Teixeira does run wide, opening the door for Jesus to go alongside, and this should be a done deal by the time we get into the Maggots Beckett's here. And the compromise run of the pair of them is going to help Eric out massively. And he's not had a good run himself through, and he's lost a lot of time. But saying that, Diego's managed to get himself on the grass, and is all over that bumps. Just open the door, Eric straight on through, and now he's just got to chase down Jesus. Now it's just a matter of, can Jesus hold him off, or is Ryan right up behind him? I think he's got through as well, and he's looking for blood. He had good times he was doing in the practice, and now he's it's the 3 at the front here. I don't know how they finished in the hot lap server, but they were quick earlier in practice, and let's just see how they all come together now. Adam.
I think you just missed off screen there. An absolutely incredible lunge by Michelle Rodriguez. Managed to get himself right past Diogo Teixeira from a mile back and didn't bump into him at all. So, you know, props to Michelle there, making a fantastic move. He's trying to keep up with his top 3. He's trying to regain another podium position finish. But yeah, like you say, a lot of lawn mowing going on here. I had an interesting conversation with a marshal at the weekend. I was at the Snetterton Circuit down in near Norwich, And he said he said to me, he says, because of course it's the Palmer family that own a lot of the circuits in Britain. He says the Palmers only introduced track limits because they wanted to keep the gardening prices down. I think they were sick. They were sick of looking after the grass, so they brought in very, very heavy track limits, and they've got a bunch of technology at them circuits now to enforce it. And as a result, I think it was a 90-minute race with 36 track limit penalties. Clearly, Silverstone in a sort of course are not half as bothered about their grass because it's not real.
That sounds like a UKC Inters race, really.
It definitely does. It definitely does. So the top three, very, very tight. No BUKC matters in amongst these top three, Tom.
No, well, you say that they're a second between each other, and they haven't quite gotten close enough to touch each other yet. So we can't be calling that yet. I know Jesus is not going to make it easy for Eric if he goes for an overtake, and I know Ryan's not gonna. He's not going to be wanting to let him get away, and he's going to be wanting to try and make a move to get through. So he's probably going to look. If I was him, I'd look to capitalise on any mistake the pair ahead make. Hopefully, sit and hope they come together, trying to fight their way through. But realistically, I think he's going to be a sensible way would be just sit behind them, wait for them to make us have a bit of a scuffle. Hope they come together and slow both each other down on the exit of one of the corners onto the straights, and then just try and slingshot his way past using the boost. Adam.
Exactly. Activate that hybrid. Slingshot yourself past is the move today, I think. Along with our rules that we made up at qualifying, drive good and don't spin. Jesus getting all over the curbs there through the loop, and that's going to give Eric Chimandera a serious run on him down the Wellington straight. Eric Chimandera moves to the inside, breaks deep. He's almost alongside Jesus, but not quite. Coming around Brooklands into Luffield. Eric Chimandera is ahead, but he's on the outside. He's going to have a good run, a good bit of traction on the outside of the Luffield. Yes, he is coming through Woodcote. They're still alongside into Woodcote, and it looks like Eric Chimandera is going to move ahead. Oh, and Ryan Skywalker with a daring move around the outside of Woodcote. How on earth has he pulled that off? Coming up into Copse, this is a serious battle. Ryan Skywalker up at the front of the pack. How did he get through? Eric Chimandera in second and Jesus. Tom, what happened?
He just deployed. I think he just deployed most of his boost. I think we might see him a bit vulnerable onto the straight here. Depends how much he's able to regen through these corners. He's not had a great run through there. It's allowed Eric to get back onto him. Jesus hasn't done fantastic, but he's still on there. It's still a second between them. I think Jesus' issue, is he changed it up to 7th a little bit too soon. He just wants to let that 6th gear run a bit further and then change up to 7th with that. Eric is just, this is fantastic racing. Ryan is just, I think he spent the first race using it as an extra practice session, and he's come out absolutely swinging. He's gone from last to first currently, and he's not letting him get too close. He's pulled a second on him in half a lap. He's done a fantastic job, really.
What a fantastic bit of driving from Ryan Skywalker there to get all the way from third into first. Never mind his last to first mission that he's on this entire race. So Ryan Skywalker off in front, half a second ahead of Eric Chimandera into the loop. Jesus very close behind him, and Michelle Rodriguez very close behind them all. They're all kind of concertina and up there out the loop, but I don't think that's going to be a good line for them because I think Michelle Rodriguez might get a bit of speed on them. As we watch Eric Chimandera get some serious speed on Ryan Skywalker, he's not going to be able to make a move into Brooklands quite yet, but going around Brooklands, look at how deep Eric Chimandera breaks there into Brooklands, round Luffield. He's just got some serious breaking point skill over these other drivers on track, but Ryan Skywalker then off in front. Eric Chimandera fighting back. He's almost alongside into Woodcote, deciding not to wreck the pair of them around Woodcote, and he's going to try and battle back up to Copse. He's not quite going to pull a Lewis Hamilton neither. He's going to go into Maggots. He's going to go into Beckett's. Eric Chimandera running as wide can be into Beckett's. Going to try and get some speed on Ryan Skywalker coming back onto the hanger straight. You got the right, left of Maggots and Beckett's. Look at these four drivers all line astern. This is fantastic racing from the what's the word, quadruplet, but nothing less than I'd expect from these fantastic drivers that we have the pleasure of viewing every single week. Eric Chimandera sniffing Ryan Skywalker's exhaust fumes, not able to get it this time. They smell like hybrid. Jesus chasing the pair of them. Jesus making deep. What a move on Eric Chimandera. That was last of the late breakers into club again. On Jesus has dropped it. Michelle Rodriguez corrects him. Michelle Rodriguez gives him a little hand, says, "There you go, mate. You come back on track." But that's going to drop them both off the back of Ryan Skywalker. And now Jesus drops the ball once again and drops out of the podium position once again. terror! What a terror, Tom!
It's all over the place. I was about to say it's like looking at 2016 WEC all over again, but it's all over the place, really, isn't it? What I've noticed so far is Ryan deploys less hybrid out of the corners and prefers to deploy it further down the straight. Yes, this saves him hybrid boosts, but it's cost him time dearly. As you see, he had 1.3 seconds on Eric there, and he didn't deploy at all on that straight, and it's cost him a second on that straight alone. That's the bonus the hybrid gives you. It just absolutely flies up on you. And Eric is running off on that. He does not want to be there. A little bit more on there, and he could have been in serious issues. But yeah, Ryan, I think he needs to use his hybrid a little bit more, and he'll do a lot better. I think he's just afraid of the button, I think.
I think there's some very interesting tactics going on with deploying the hybrid. You know, there's different ways of doing it, isn't there? But it's definitely not working in Ryan's favour, with Eric chasing him down, and Eric's seemingly the master of this Audi. He won the first race. He's going to look to win the second race. He's got 5 minutes left to get past Ryan Skywalker, and there's only 3 tenths between them. Went up the hangers straight. Eric Shimandera's right behind him. He's going to look to get around the outside of Stowe. You've got a little bit of a turn before Stowe, so they're braking deep. Eric Shimandera's going to try and brake a little bit deeper, not able to get the move done this time around. We've got a very, very deep braking zone coming up for Club Chicane. Is Eric Shimandera going to try and make a serious dive up the inside? Ryan Skywalker covers the inside, but Eric Shimandera cuts back, and he gets a cut back on there, and Ryan Skywalker clips in round, and Ryan Skywalker gets the back of Eric Shimandera. Eric Shimandera spins round, Ryan Skywalker slows down to try and let Eric back through, but that allows Michelle Rodriguez and Jesus through, and Michelle Rodriguez is up into first position with Jesus back in second position. Oh my goodness, Tom.
Yeah, Ryan doing the sporting thing, letting him back through. There was never a move on there, as we say. He's gone through, and he was too committed. He did not expect him to be going that slow on the apex. But yeah, that is an absolutely gifted Jesus and Michelle. Well, it's arguably gifted them first and second. They've got 5 seconds back to these two, and realistically, I do not see them closing in that time in what's left. Yes, they're quicker, but I don't think they're that much quicker in the slightest. It's going to take Jesus to do what he's done in the last race and the start of this race to give them any hope of getting back in. And Michelle just needs to keep his nose clean, and he's going to win this.
Exactly, Michelle Rodriguez and Jesus there jumping for joy as they move into first and second position. It's an honest mistake from Ryan there. It was just, you know, they were so close going through the Club Chicane, and Eric managed to make a switchback move, and Ryan was just getting a bit on the throttle, as he's just done there, and lost much traction and gone off at Woodcut, just like Jesus did last race. So Ryan Skywalker now in 4th position. You know, he let Eric Shimandera through, so fantastic racing from him there. Very, very sportsmanlike. Just one of them. It's just the risk of racing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Eric did a fantastic job. He sold him the dummy that he was going to really try and send it around the outside, but in actual fact he just wasn't. So I think Ryan was just trying to brake later as well to cover him off and make sure, and to basically just say to him, no, you're not coming back up the inside of me. And the issue he had with that is that he just braked a little bit too late, and then I think if he had any hybrid, he could have and probably should have deployed it, get himself going again. But I think maybe his issue is he used all of his hybrid down the Wellington straight instead of using it out the corner to get him going and reduce the amount that Eric can gain. He was using it on the straight, so as Eric caught up to him, he just didn't have anything to get him going again. I was just saying that Michelle's goes, I think, sets a personal best of the race with a 45-1, and it's just slowly pulling that gap to Jesus slightly bigger each time.
You know, it's just the danger of running these incredibly high downforce, incredibly fast cars so close to each other. You don't really see them running this close, you know, four in a line in real life. It's something that's so unique about Assetto Corsa, but it just shows us the absolute punishment you can get for just a little bit of a touch that, you know, in a normal car, they'd have been able to get away with that and carry on. But it's just the uniqueness of these cars and how they work that, well, little mistakes get punished. And one man that's going to know all about that is Jesus. The man that's driven so flawlessly, and then just little mistakes have let him down, and he's now in second position, which isn't a bad place to be, but he would have preferred to be in first position, which is where he would have been if he hadn't have had that incident earlier on in the race. But man in first is Michelle Rodriguez. Notable cool head. We expect nothing less than safe, cool driving from Michelle Rodriguez, and he's proven us right by keeping his head screwed on straight, keeping that 2.5-ish gap back to Jesus, and with 1 minute 15 left, doesn't look like he's. I wouldn't predict him to be spinning out anytime soon. Just judging off his past racing this race, Tom.
Yeah, I think it's we've got 2 laps at the line, and I would like to correct you on something. You do see these cars running close in real life. The difference is, unlike F1, these cars were designed to actually race. As we all know,
Fair enough.
F1's just a procession and a parade. Everyone just likes to look at the pretty cars go round. WEC and the LMP1 cars were designed to race and designed to battle, and they did that very well. And honestly, I'm so excited for 2023, I think it is, when there's going to be so many manufacturers involved in that top class, and I'm going to be there to watch at Le Mans. It's going to be great.
You going in 2023?
I'm hopefully going next year as well. I've told my job I've got the week off. I've already booked it off.
Oh, fantastic! If anyone else that's watching is going to Le Mans, hunt down Tom.
Adam only says that because he's very jealous because he won't be going.
Yes, probably not.
Yeah,
Probably not.
So, yeah, the issue you have with these cars as well is that yes, they're something that I don't think we get into the game here is that in real life they are so advanced. I mean, with that Williams from I think it was the late 80s and early 90s where it had the suspension that knew where it was in the track, and that got banned. Well, in WEC and these cars, the car does know where you are on the track. It knows where you are, and it sort of helps you it uses like sort of clever traction control and stuff to make sure you're not overdoing what the car can do around the corners. But the amount of grip these cars have and the downforce and just the sheer go that they have, they help themselves through it. As saying all this, Michel now coming into the club section for the final time today, coming in to bring home his victory. One more lap. Sorry, I saw the 0+1 and I was like, oh, this is it. He's got another lap, everybody. Sorry about that.
Don't worry, you can take us across the line.
But what he does have is he's got a 2.5 second lead back to Jesus. He's just gone nearly a second faster, doing another PB of a 44.4. He's absolutely flying. He's really on it. He's nice and comfortable, it looks like, and he's just doing his thing. He knows where he wants to be. He knows how to do that. He's had plenty of practice, and he looks comfortable. He's driving away. It's stable. I think Eric's just maybe fallen out of his rhythm when he got collided with Ryan. I think Ryan's had frustration seep in, so has dropped back himself. I mean, he was 5 seconds back with Eric, and Eric's lost 1.5 seconds, and Ryan has lost. He's lost an extra 15 seconds on him. So I think he's let a few mistakes creep in, and he just hasn't been able to get himself back up there. Meanwhile, Jesus he's done the Jesus thing. He's sorted himself out, and he's just sat there. He's not letting him run away too much. He's still applying pressure, and if Michel's going to make a mistake, then Jesus is going to come through and take it. But realistically, I don't see that happening, and I'm really hoping, as I'm saying this, he's not going to spin it so I don't curse him.
That's the danger. You don't want to put the commentator's curse on him.
Yeah, I feel like I'm arguably more nervous than he'd be at this point because I'm saying all these things, and I'm just there like, don't do it wrong and make me look like a muppet, please. It is quite nerve-wracking. It's definitely harder to commentate than to drive. I'm saying it. Yeah. So now he's going through the club section for the final time. Just one corner to go now. Getting that boost out there, deploy everything you got left, get it in 5th. You're just chilling out. He's going across the line, and there we go. Michel Rodriguez wins race 2 with a nice little slide into Abbey. Jesus coming across in 2nd, and then Eric Schimandera coming in 3rd. 4th place going to, I believe, Ryan Skywalker as he's coming on through the club section now, bringing it home. He had a fantastic race. He did really well all the way from last up to 4th. I mean, he can't be too unhappy about that. Probably not the result he would have wanted, but either way, he's got a good result. And then Shaq coming in 5th, and then Diego Texeira's actually spun in the club chicane but he's going to cross the line in 6th place. He's got 30 seconds back to Yeehaw. I say cross the line. If damage was on, he'd be done for. Oh, he's going to reverse it. Diego, it's only impressive if you can win and do that. I'll let you know. I'll let you know now, mate. Coming in 6th is not that impressive, especially when the rest of the field are an extra half minute behind you. All you have to do is just drive round the lap to achieve that, really.
We might have another crazy last lap move.
I just noticed as well, Bolivar and KYSV are right on each other. Bolivar needs to keep it perfect, and KYSV is right on him. Is he going to have the boost mapped? That will decide this probably. I can hear the boost going. He's catching slightly, but I think he's just not going to have enough. There it is.
Only just too far behind there. 3/10 between them on the line. Incredible.
Yeah, and then I believe final person to come across the line is Chris. And there it is. That is race 2. Oh, that's your race is done. Now, if you've won a race, please stick around. We'll try and get some interviews on you.
They're already here.
And oh, they're already here. Wonderful. Shows how much attention I'm paying. Adam, I'll pass it back over to you.
Yeah, what a fantastic finish to the race there. Michelle Rodriguez taking another first position. Nothing less than we'd expect from him. Just solid driving, capitalising on other mistakes, and just driving it across the line as fast as possible. Jesus taking on the second, Eric Zamindera in third. So, yeah, Eric Zamindera and Michelle Rodriguez, your 2 winners for today. Let's join them. And Ryan Skywalker's in the channel. We can join him too if you want to join him, Tom. We'll jump into general.
Yeah, well, we don't know what conversations might be going on. Let's drag them up here, just so we don't interrupt.
That's a good
anything.
point. That's a good point. Let's.
Yes.
I'll ping them. I'll make sure they're ready.
Yeah, don't want to pull them in while they're mid conversation about certain incidents.
Yeah, that's true.
We
That's
don't
true.
know if it's heated or if it's all friendly. Yeah. So that was a really solid race, I thought. Some people got a bit unlucky with the incidents that went on, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, some great battles all through. They were very, very well behaved, and they were spread apart by a few seconds, but I can't complain because they did race very well, especially in that second race. Let's drag them all in. We've got Ryan, we've got Michelle, and we've got Eric. Everyone's in here. Hello, boys.
Hello. What's happening?
How's it going, guys? Obviously, we've got Michelle and Eric who won the races, and we've got Ryan in here because we can still chat with Ryan about his race because, well, you 3 and also Jesus had a crazy battle in that final race.
Yep.
Yeah, that was insane.
that was great. I have to say that was great.
I saved all my boost up until that point, and then I decided to use it and show them.
Oh, we saw your double overtake, Ryan, around Cops.
Yeah.
That was incredible. What a
I'm
bit.
better than Lewis Hamilton,
I don't want to throw him out of the corner.
I'm sure Tom's got some questions lined up. Then. Tom.
I do have a few. So starting with Eric. Eric, you couldn't replicate that fantastic lap in qualifying. In fact, you did make me look a little bit silly when I was commenting on board of you, and then you span. I was on board giving it the whole look how well he's doing, and then he just loops it. I'm just there like, well, what do I do now?
Stuff happens. Stuff happens when you're racing. Got a little trigger happy on the throttle, I would say.
Yeah. Either way, you did a fantastic first race, and you were really solid in the second race. Tell us what was going through your head at the start of that first race.
At the first race, how Zeus was so fast out on the launch. I didn't get that, but then when he wrote on the chat that for the second race that he was in a different deployment mode, then I also switched to that only for the start, and then I unbinded the button. So you can learn from that. You can be much faster when you're using a different MGUK mode.
Yeah. I do have to question you quickly, Ryan, about your strategy of the hybrid deployment on the second race at least. I noticed that you didn't want to deploy it out of the corner and waited until all of your lead was gone before you then deployed the boost again to stop them overtaking you.
Yeah, I decided rather to use it as a defensive mechanism than attacking.
Yeah, thinking. Interesting. Did you not think maybe if you deployed out of the corner, they wouldn't gain a second on you down the straight before you then deployed it?
No, but then I spin. There's a difference.
True. Michelle, on about these two and their little battles. What was going through your head when you saw Ryan give Eric a gentle persuasion into figure skating?
I heard there was auditions for figure skating. I didn't know about them. Otherwise, I would have taken part.
Yeah.
Gentle persuasion. Jesus.
You
Show what
feel,
shit all
man.
unfold.
No, it was good.
Michelle, are you there?
Oh yeah, my mic was muted. Yeah, I was ecstatic. when I saw him touch, I was like, yes, it's my time to shine. And I got the lead, but then I thought, damn, I didn't really want to take the lead like this, but oh yeah, I'll take it.
The lead is the lead, my friend. Just
Yes.
Yeah,
take
next
it and
time
run
I'm not
away.
waiting.
No, it was really. What was your thinking when Jesus was right on you? Because he kept with you for a while actually before you gapped him a bit.
Yeah, the thing was that before when we were four-way battling, Jesus lost grip and spun right in front of me before the straight finish line. And I was like, no, I'm gonna lose Eric and Ryan. But then I just noticed when I was catching them up, I had the pace to leave Jesus behind me. So once I got in front, I was pretty calm actually.
Oh, it's lucky for some, really, isn't it? Nice and calm nearly in the race. Yeah. So, Adam, do you have any questions?
I don't. I enjoyed the second race, particularly the first race. You were all too spread out. So next time you can all slow down and race each other.
I never
Thank
even
you.
started the first race. It never took me to
That's
the grid.
true, actually. Brian, what happened there? What
I
happened in
don't
the
know.
first
It
race?
just did not take me to the grid, and then it restarted qualifying. And then I went on the track and I battled Jesus for a bit, just for fun. And then I thought, nah, because then it says to me qualifying, it ran out. So I was like, no, this is not going to work. So I just went out and back in again, and then it showed the race. It literally didn't even take me to the grid.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Well, you did have a good battle with Jesus, and we got that on camera. That was a good, nice little.
I
bit
thought
of
I'd make
juking
him
about.
nervous a bit, this backmarker fighting him.
Yeah, but good races, fellas. Really well done, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
More of the same, thank you.
It was really
Yeah,
fun.
definitely.
The first lap of the second race was really fun actually. Started from the back and just got
Crazy,
up to fourth place.
crazy battles in the first lap of that second race. You were right up there, Michelle, and I think Jesus and Eric, you guys were right up at the front, straight from the back, which was incredible. Great starts.
with the deployment mode, just
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah, I was
Easy.
overtaking guys left, right, and center in the second race. It was like they were looking for parking. I don't know.
I think
No,
some
it's
guys might not have known about the hybrid modes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I
So,
don't think some people are deploying it because that's the excuse I'm giving them for being a minute behind after 15 minutes.
Well, you could see that on straights when people were like 20, 30 kilometers slower even in some
Yeah.
races.
Yeah.
It has to have been that.
Oh well.
But not going to be an issue next week because I believe that next week could be BMWs at Laguna Seca or Mazdas at Monza. Not 100% on what it is yet. We'll find out within the next hour when Tom sets it over. But yeah, that's everything. I'll boot you guys out of here. See you later.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you guys. They've all been kicked out. There you go. This is our domain now, Tom. Well, there we
That's just
go.
me and you.
Max, it's just us two. Just the two of us.
Don't, you'll get copyright.
That's true. That's true. Well, there you go. Two 15-minute races, two fantastic races for the 17th Track Tighter Community Race. You'll join us next week for the number 18th. And again, it's one of them two that I mentioned. We'll find out. But there we go. Thank you very much to everyone that joined us this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you all. I've been Adam Chapman and Tom Jones beside me.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's been great fun.
And that does conclude the night's racing. We will see you all next week. Ta-ra!
Good night.